Alright guys, let's continue learning Figma. And from this video, we are going to be learning about shape. Okay, so there are multiple shapes in Figma. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to get rid of these ones. And maybe not yet. Let me just click on this drop down icon, this small drop down icon. You can see here we have rectangle, and the shortcut to that is R. You have line, shortcut to that is L. We have arrow, that's shift L. We have ellipse, O, the shortcut to that is O. We have polygon, we have star, and we have image or video. And the shortcut to that is Control, Shift, and Q respectively. Okay, so I'm going to just click on the first one, which is rectangle. Okay, this is rectangle. And if I click and drag like this, I have rectangle. Okay. If you want to make it, you can see now if I click and drag down like this, it's longer than the width. Okay, it's the height is longer than the width. And if I do the same thing towards the horizontal axis, I get more width higher than the height. But if you want to make it a square, just as you are dragging, just click on shift, right? So if it's square now, it just means that the width is equal to the height. All right. Hope that is very simple to understand. Okay, so let me just delete this one, and I'm going to draw it again. Now I'm going to click on the shortcut, which is R, and then you can see it has been selected. Click and drag, hold shift and drag like this, so we have square. Okay, let's make this very small. Let's make it to be maybe somewhere around 600 by 600. Okay, and when I was drawing frame in the last video, I didn't show you some of these aspects, so I'm going to be showing you one after the other. So as we are learning about this tool, then you are beginning to understand some of these aspects too. Of course, here we have layout. Don't worry about position. We are coming to position. We have layout. Layout just consists of dimensions. That's the width and the height. And here we have 600 pixel, and we have 600 pixel. That's the width and the height respectively. Okay. Of course, if you want to make it bigger, you can come here and then do that. But usually what you are going to be doing, you are going to be using this move tool to increase it here. So here we have different attributes to this particular shape. So here we have this one called radius. So radius is the edge. Okay. So this radius now, if you click on this small circle now, you can see we have it here. I can't even zoom in. And if you click and drag, you can see now we're having like rounded corner instead of the sharp corner that we already had. Now it's becoming rounded. And if you notice this place under the appearance, we have corner radius. Now the number is adjusting. So you can also change it here too. You can see I drag, I click on this. I didn't click on it, I over it. I use my mouse to over it. And I click and drag like this. And you can see it's adjusted. Okay. Under the appearance, we have the opacity. The opacity is the alpha amount. The alpha amount just means the level of transparency of this rectangle is going to be to its background. Okay, don't worry, let me just show you that in case that's a big English to you. Let me just click on F. Remember, F is shortcut to draw a frame. So let me just click here, and then we have our frame drawn. Then I'm changing the color to, let's go with green. I like green to a good extent, and I'm going to rename it. So let's just call it dashboard. Okay, and I'm going to, you can see we have dashboard here. We are coming to layer, don't worry. And I'm going to drag this rectangle to like this here. And once I drag it here now, you can see that the rectangle goes inside the dashboard here. So here we can call this one user like this. Okay. So let's go back to the appearance. So this appearance now, as I am reducing this number, you can see we can see through it. You can see through it. If it's now 0 now, it becomes totally invisible. And if it's 100%, it becomes totally visible that we cannot see anything from the background anymore. Okay? So this is just like transparency level. Okay? And then we have all of these things too. We have visibility. You can hide it here. If you don't want to show it, if you want to hide it, you can hide it here. Okay, if you go to the layer too, you can see we have the same thing here. This is the layer. And this layer now, you can also click on this eye icon to toggle the visibility. Okay? And you can also click on the lock too. If you click on the lock now, you can't touch it again. You can't be able to, you cannot move it anymore. just in case you are dealing with complex design, and then you want to just make sure that you don't mistakenly shift something, you can lock them. So let me unlock it. Okay, good. So here we have other things to it too. We have fill. Fill. Fill is just the color. Okay. And this one is available on frames and anything. Fill is available on anything that you want to draw in Figma. Okay. So you can change the color to anything that you like. This is the monochromatic color scheme. This is simply the color scheme that your eyes can see. Okay. You can go from red to orange, from orange to yellow, then to green, and then to blue, pink, and then back to red. Okay. I'm working with HSB. Your own can be in hexadecimal code like this. Okay. So don't worry about all of these things. Maybe we are going to record 1 or 2, 3 videos to talk about color. Because color is a complex stuff that you have to learn if you want to become a professional designer. All right. Oh, okay. So that's it about color. Of course, if you want to use two color, now I'm under here solid. You can go to this place and use two colors. Okay. So in case you want to use two color that is blending from one color to another, you can just say, let's say this one is going to be pink like this. Okay. So you can just make the other one to be red like this. Okay. So you can see now it's kind of a little bit blending, but then the background is not in agreement with them. So let's modify the background a little bit. What do you think we can put the background now? Let's just put it to yellow or orange, something like this. So that's just it about that. And then we have stroke. Now, see, I'm clicking on this rectangle, this user rectangle. Now we have stroke. You can give it a stroke. Stroke just means the line around the edge. Okay. So this one now, see the stroke now is on black. You can change the color. Right now, you can't really see it very well. Let me zoom in. So let's change the width. Let's change the width to 10. So you can see now we have it. It's like a line around it. You can give stroke to anything too, including frame. So you can see this one is inside. You also have center. We have outside. All right. So let's keep it inside now. Inside just means that it's inside of this. It's inside of this user rectangle. That means this is within the 600 pixel. Unlike if it's outside. If it's outside, it will not be within. Okay. So here we have multiple options. We have other options. So you have advanced stroke settings. You can go here. If you go here, you'll be seeing other settings that you can use to select the style of this stroke. So you have basic. You can make it solid or dash like this. Okay. And if you make it like this, if you make it dash, you can select the dash cap in any way that you want. Okay. Let me put it for solid now, because most of the time you're going to be working with solid. And then you can make it to be brush. I think all of these things are new in Figma, and they are not really commonly used in Figma. So I wouldn't be talking too much on this one. Okay. This one are just like you are doing advanced graphics. All of these things are what the developer are going to code. So if you are working with real world projects, please minimize the way you're going to be using some of this advanced design stuff. It's headache for developers. But if you are designing for maybe you just want to showcase to your friend, or maybe on your social media, or it's like a flyer, then you can use all of these things in detail. All right. Okay. Let's go to dynamic. You can see we have dynamic. All of these things are just, I don't know why Figma added all of these things. Right? I have not used it before. This is just like advanced graphics. If you want to draw a custom shape that you can export as maybe PNG, or you can export as a vector file. And of course, you have brush too. Okay. You can see all of these things are just there. You can play around them. We are not going to be using most of these things in Figma. Okay. UI design is very simple. UI design is just with user problem and solving them, not advanced graphics. Okay, so I'm going to close this one now. Okay, if there's a need to teach you anything about it in the future as we work on our project, we are going to be coming back here. And we have effect. This effect now, you can see we have inner shadow, we have drop shadow, we have layer blur, background blur, noise, texture, class, and so on and so forth. The ones that are very commonly used all the time are number 1, drop shadow, number 2, inner shadow, and number 3, background blur, then of course layer blur. You see this noise, texture, glass, they are not really common. I mean, this day we are using glass too because of this day we are this there's this common trend that we call glass movism effect. It's more common now. And for you to achieve this, you can use background blur and you can use glass to achieve them. But for now, let's focus on inner shadow. Just like you as a human being, that you have shadow if there's light. Before you can have shadow, there must be light though. In darkness, there's nothing like shadow. All right, unless the darkness is not strong enough. If you're working with dark mode in your UI, don't use shadow. So shadow is always when you are in light mode mainly, or maybe there's a little bit of darkness. So shadow is just like a refactor of your design, of your shape that's going to be shown on the background of your shape. Just like you as a human, you can see yourself. You can see yourself as a shadow if there's light. If you're working in a hot sun, you can see your shadow. Okay. So here we have some attributes to it. We have position, we have X, Y, we have blur, for, we have spread, and we have color. Let's start with the position. So if I hover around this and then make it like, or you can, if as I'm offering, if you can do that, you can just click on the number. So I set this one to 22 now. Let's make it 20. You can see now that this thing is now refactored toward the right side. If you want to make it to what is the left side, you can just make it to be negative like this. Okay? And let's make it to be right like this now. And then we have Y. Y is just like vertical. So let's make it 20 as well. You can see what we have now. Okay? If you want to make it up, that's minus 20. Okay, good. So let's make it 20 like this. And then we have blur. You know what is blur now? Like blurry fission, when things become blur. And this is what will make the shadow become very interesting and make it a little bit real. Now it's set to 4. We can make it to be 0 if you don't want any blur at all. You can see it's not sharp. Okay? So if you want to make it a little bit real, we can add blurry or blur to it. So let's make it to be, I like to put my blur. I've mistakenly put this one to 0. I like to put my blur to be half of this unit of X and Y. So you can just make it to be 10 like this. Okay? And then, of course, you have the spread. Spread just is like the amount of which it's spread. Let's just increase it so you can see now. Right? That is becoming bigger and bigger. Okay, mostly you are going to be working with 0 or 2 or 1. But for now, let's just make it to be that 0. So if you want to make it real now, you can just then make it like 15 pixel, 15 or 10 pixel. Let's work 15 pixel. You can see it becoming a little bit real. Now the shadow, I don't think that is, yeah, it's okay. But if you want to add life to it now, you can make it a little bit blurry like this. Okay. Now it's becoming a little bit more real. And we can just make it to be maybe 25 or something like this. Okay. And of course, if you want to, if you want to make any color of the shadow, you want to give it maybe this color that it has, you can click on colors and then select it like this. You can see you have the color here now. So you can now make it to be 15 pixel like this. You can see now it's like a little bit shorter and even more real. So you can play around with these things. This is very simple to work with. And of course, we have inner shadow and so on and so forth. I'll be using other things to teach you inner shadow. Okay. We are dealing with shape here, and I want to talk about more shape. So let's leave this one for this one. You can, all of these things, we are still going to go through over them. The other ones. So let's go to another shape here. We have line. Line is very simple. Let me draw another shape here. So I'm going to click on F, and then I'm going to draw this shape. Okay, so this one is the dashboard. Let's call this one, let's just call it lines. Missing the X here. Okay, good. So let's go to this place and then L. So this one is very simple, just like normal line from one point to another. So click on one point like this, click, and then drag. Don't leave your mouse. So you can see now we have line. So what is common with line is you want to increase the width like this. Okay? Increase the width. And you can see when you are dealing with line, you cannot tamper with the height. You can only tamper with the width like this. The width is towards the horizontal direction. If you want to increase the height, then you can come to the width of the stroke. to do that because line is assumed to be a stroke, just like we have stroke around here. Okay, so that's it with this with this one. Okay, if you want to draw a line and you need to adjust the height, usually you do that with pen tool. We'll see how pen tool work later on. Okay, so that's it for um, the line, and we also have arrows. Let's go to arrows now. This arrow is just more like a line too, but this one is ending with a cap at the beginning or at the end. So as I click and drag this one now, you can see now almost the same thing. So let's make this one to be like 10. You can see now we have a cap. So this cap, you can change it to whatever you like. You can see we have the end point, which is here. You can make it to maybe none like this. If it is none, then it will be like the former one. You can put it for round. You can put it for square. Or if you want line arrow that it was before, if you have triangle, if you want triangle arrow, you can put it this way. If you want reverse triangle, circle, diamond arrow, and so on and so forth. Of course, if you want the same thing at the starting point, you can go to this start to and maneuver around it. Okay? It depends on what you want. And even if you draw normal line, you can do the same thing too. Yeah. So though that's one just like the same thing. Okay? You can do the same thing too with normal line. So that's it about that. Okay, and you can use all these things to create multiple stuff in Figma. You can use to create icons. Like for example, if you are you want to draw a search icon, that kind of stuff. In fact, you are going to do that probably with this ellipse too. And that's our next on the list. So let's go to the ellipse. If you want to draw a circle, you use ellipse to do that. Okay. So if you just click on this ellipse to here, that's a shortcut 0. Oh, not 0, but O. You can click and drag like this. You can see here we have a circle. Right? This is not a circle. This is now looking like a shape of egg, depending on how you do it. If you want to have a perfect circle, just click Shift on your keyboard. And you can see now we have a circle. Okay? So let me just drop it now. So this circle now, you can do what we have done with this one too. This one, you can give it a feel, you can tamper with the appearance, you can give it stroke, you can give it effect, and so on and so forth. Okay? But there is more to the circle. Let me show you that. So if I zoom in now, you can see we have this dot. This is called the arc. Okay? Just like in the mathematics forms. So this arc now, if you over around here, if you click on it, you can create something like pi from here. So you can see we have more menu now. We have the sweep, we have the ratio, and then we have the starting point. So let's play around with the sweep. The sweep is just like this one, okay? So you can make it to be in any way. If you are dealing with maybe dashboard that has statistics in forms of pie chart or something like that, then you can use this one to maneuver with things. And then you have this ratio. This ratio will give it all at the center, okay? So you can see what we have now. You can see you can create advanced shape out of this, okay? And then of course you have the start point, which means you can rotate it anyhow you like. That's it for the for all those menus. And of course, if you go to the appearance, you have this menu in there. You have the start, you have the sweep, and then we have the ratio. In case you do want to do it from there, you can adjust it from here. Okay. So I said that we can use this one to create like an icon. So let's create an icon now. I'm going to press O on my keyboard. As I press O, you can see this ellipse has been selected. I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to just draw this circle here. Let's just call it, let me call it a circle. Name it a circle. And I'm going to give it a stroke. Now you have a stroke, right? I'm going to make the stroke to be, let's put it for 4, like this, okay? And then I'm going to change the color. Color is the field from D99 to white, like this. Okay, good. So I'm going to go to line, and I'm going to draw a line like this. Okay. Let me make the line to be straight. Okay. So under the rotation here, you can see we can tamper with the orientations of the line or anything. So under rotation, we have rotation, and we have rotate, flip horizontal, flip vertical. Line is not a better thing to use to extend all of these ones here. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it till we talk about one other thing that is easy for me to use to explain that one. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to increase this to 4 like this. Okay. And I'm going to rotate it from the rotation like this. Let's go towards here. Okay. So as we are here now, I want to make the width to be like this. Okay. And let me zoom in and I'm going to make it like this. You can see now this is now looking like a search icon or a magnifying icon. All right. So you can group these things together. Click on this circle. This line, let us rename it to undo. And this circle and undo. When you click on undo, click Ctrl like this to select both of them. And then if you want to group them, right click on them like this. You can see we have more menu, we have copy, paste to replace, send to Figma, make, and so on and so forth. What we have interest in is frame selection, not group selection. This is frame selection. So this frame selection will now what? We now create frame around them, just like you will do in any frame. So click on frame selection. And don't worry, I will tell you the difference between grouping and framing later on. So let's just rename it to search icon. And we can make use of it in our design. But you are not going to be creating icon from scratch in your design. Okay, because you can use plugin to import icon in your design. This we say that don't reinvent the wheel. Okay, because these icons that you want to use in your design, they already been created before. And some of them are even perfect than the one that you will create in your design. So it's okay to go to there to go and just use that icon from the library of icons. For example, I showed you how to install. Okay, not you, please. This particular place now, if you go to action, then you can go to plugins and widgets. You can see if you don't have plugin installed yet, you can just search for Iconify like this, Iconify. You will see this icon. I have it saved in my Figma now. If you don't have it saved, you can just click on it, and then you will see one icon that will say that do you want to save it or you want to run it. So save it and then go and tap it again and run it. All right. So here we can search for search icon. And you can see we have search icon in different dimensions, all of which look to what we already created. You can see we have fill, we have the one that even looking more finer. You see this one they are what users they have used to it. So it's okay that I use these ones. And if you're working in the design, you don't want to be starting creating your own icon from scratch. Of course, in some cases you will do that if your client has more budgets for that. But if not, please always use icon from the library. So we say that you should not reinvent the wheel. So let's say I want to put this icon in my designer. Just click on here and then you drag it here like this. So we have the icon. Okay. So that's just it. I'm going to remove this one for now. And then these two, I can just put it around this place. Okay. I think it is high time for that you learn how to create that you need to learn about layer. Because I feel like if you don't know how this layer work now, things might be a little bit messy and you don't even know where to click. But don't worry, let's just finish this shape before we move on to layers. So we have polygon. Okay. You know, in mathematics, you have polygon. And polygon can be of many shapes. Okay. You can have polygon, octagon, nonagon, hexagon, and so on and so forth. The same thing with Figma. So here we have this polygon. This polygon is what we call triangle. Okay. That is because it has 3 edges. So if it is 4, that's going to be what? Rectangle. So these 3 edges now that we have here, you can increase it. Okay, let me even show you how to create them. I didn't show you very well. Let me go back here. So this polygon, this one does not even have any shortcuts. Just click on it and then you click and drag. So you can see what we have now. If I am twisting it, you can see this triangle is being distorted. So if you want to have perfect triangle, click on Shift again, and then you have perfect triangle. So all these 3 sides facing each other, they are now equal in height. All right. So the same thing, you can change the shape, You can, let me use this one to teach you a little bit about rotation. So under this rotation now, you can rotate it anyhow that you want. Okay. So if you have done something and you want to undo them, just press Ctrl Z to undo it. And we have dimension, just like in every other one of the shape and frame. You have the opacity, you have the fill. We already talked about stroke. Don't worry, we'll talk about effect and of course export in a bit. But for now, though, I want to show you more attributes um, of this shape. So let me give it a color. Let's go with which color this time? Okay, let's go with this light version of blue, this sky blue. So this blue now, you can see we have radius, just like the way we had it in rectangle. So this radius, you can just click on it and then drag like this. And then you can see that under the appearance, this radius is being adjusted here too. So you can also adjust it here too. And then we have count. Now we have how many edges or how many points? We have 3 points. Okay. So if you want to have 4, just click on it and then you drag. You can drag to the right like this. There's not even one. Okay. Oh wow. Is it my mouse or something? Anyway, if it doesn't work here, you have it in the appearance. You can see we have count here. So these are 3s. So I want to make it 4. You can see. Just press 4 here. You can see you have 4 now. And this is more of what? Of rectangle. You can rotate it to be a rectangle. But I've forgotten what the name is. I think that's one particular name I've forgotten. You can make it 5. You can make it 6. You can make it 7. And so on and so forth. All right. So you can make it 90. So my people might be asking, what if I make it 90? You can make it 90. Now it's not looking more of what? Because this thing is too much. The angle is too much. So it's not looking like a circle. All right. So that's just it about that. And yeah. Now let me use this one to teach you a little bit about more aspects of effects. We already saw the drop shadow. So now let's go to layer blur. Okay. So this layer blur now, if I click it, it will blur the layer. See as that particular thing is becoming blurry. And then we have more menu. We have uniform blur. We have progressive blur. More of the time you are going to be using uniform blur, but some cases you can use progressive blur. So blur just means that the layer will be blurry. So if I increase this one now, you can see that it's becoming blurry. Then you can't see it again, Abby. You can see it, but I mean you can't actually see it in a way that it is again. So you can blur it to some extent that you not even be that visible again. You not even know that this is a circle again. Okay? Because we are going to do one assignment very soon now. And this assignment you are going to be using all of this thing to do it. Okay? So you can use this one to give your design some effect. Nice effect. Okay? So if you want to make it progressive, you have start points, you have end points. So the start point, it will not really take place. Let me now make it like this. But the end point, it will take tremendous effect. Okay, so you can see now. So if you want the start point to take effect, of course, you have to adjust it here too, like this. If you want the end point not to take any effect, give it 0 like this. All right. So that's it for the layer blur. Okay. Up next, we are going to talk about the other one, which is I think inner shadow or something. But for now, let's go to the next shape on our list. All right. And then we have star. Okay. So let me click on star now. So click and drag. And then you can see we have this is star. So if you want to have perfect star, hold shift to have perfect star like this. Otherwise, it will be distorted as you are dragging if you are moving your mouse all around. So I'm going to hold on to this and then I have star. Okay, so this star now, you can use to create some custom shape in your design that's going to give your design some kind of beautiful effect. Or let me just say it's going to give it like, how would I put it now? It's to give it like some advanced shape, right? But if you want to draw stars, like if you are dealing with maybe customer ratings, of course, you are going to be coming down here to come and draw star. Okay, so here we have count. Again, you can make it any amount that you like. You can make it 2 like this. You can make it 3 like this. 2. Okay, this cannot be set to 2. Oh, that's steady from above. Oh, wow. How do you know this? You can see. You are coming to this. You are going to make a shape today that's going to be like this. You can make it to be what? 5. Let me just click. Let me just over and drag like this. You can see now that it's becoming like a jellyfish. Like this is like a jellyfish now, right? Something like this. And then this is like a sun or something. So you can do this, use this to do a lot of stuff in that aspect. Okay. So let's use this one to learn a little bit about more of our effects. So I'm going to go to, of course, you can give it stroke if you like. So you can see you have stroke all around it, the line. And you can give it, let's give it green color like this. Okay, this is like a sun now. So let's make it like this, maybe deep orange. And then the fill to be orange like this. Oh, good. Like this. Okay. So let's take a look at it. I'm going to zoom it in. So let's come down here. And we have inner shadow. We have, this is not a good thing for me to explain inner shadow, please. So we have background blur. Background blur, I think I've shown you before, but if I've not shown you before, let me just use it to explain background blur now. So I'm going to click on this background blur now. Okay. So the way background blur is, it will now be making what is at the background to become blurry. Unlike layer blur. Layer blur is going to be making the element itself to be blurry, but this one is going to be making the background to be blurry. This is not a good example for me to show you. I'm going to draw another frame. Let me draw this frame now. So this frame, let me give it like, okay, let me give it, let me make it to be in this white color. But I'm going to draw another rectangle here. This rectangle, let me give it like this blue color. So I want to choose this color now. I just click on high on my keyboard and then I click here. So that is select color. If you want to access it, you can go to this field and then you see this icon, pick color or sample color. Then you can sample any color from here. You can sample this one. So the shortcut to that is I, because I work a lot with shortcuts. Okay. So now I'm going to just Alt and then you drag like this. So I want to show you that background blur now. So I just adjust it with my move tool like this. Okay, and I hope I'm not too fast. So this color now, you can see now that, let me even make it very, very big like this. You can see it, right? So let me give it background blur. We already have it. And of course, if you want to remove it, click on this remove here. If you want to add this, click here again. Background blur, you can do this to any one of them. If you want to close this setting, click on here. And if you want to toggle that particular effect on and off, you can just click on here. Okay. So now let's see how background blur work. So let me give this 10 now. We can't see anything because this one is not transparent. You know, it's talking about background. We have to be able to see the background before we can see the effect in this case. So I'm going to close here. So here now, under the fill, you can see here we have the color and here we have the opacity. That's the color opacity. So what I want to do is, this is now in 100. I want to make it like 70 so that we can see what is in the background. Okay. So let me even make it to be like 40. So you can see through now, right? So what I now want to add is that you can see we have the blurry now. It's becoming blurry. Can you see it very well? You can see it very well. Let me just go back here. So let me make this one to be 0. See what we have now. See the background now, that we have the background. But if I now adjust this blurry, now you can see that it become blurry. I think the right way to explain that is for me to just make it big like this. So you can see now that it has become blurry. Unlike we have it as 0, right? And then if you have it as 4, it become more blurry. If you have it as maybe 10, become more blurry, and so on and so forth. You can't have blurry to be negative number, okay? Only positive. The same thing with progressive blurry. So you can, have start points and have end points, just like we did it to the layer blur. Okay, so for now, let me just leave it for here in case you are practicing it. So let me just leave it like this. All right. So let's see our next tool here. So we have image and video. Okay, because in Figma, if you import image or video, it is considered as shape too. It's just like a shape, and then that image is being added to that shape by default. That's just how it works. So I'm going to open this now, and you are going to be taken to your file manager and system where you can put in any image. So which image can I use now? I want to use my stock image. So let me use this picture of myself. Now it's now saying that as you click to drag, just like as you withdraw a shape in Figma now, it's now saying that as you click to drag. So I can now click and drag now. You can see now, right? I can click to drag now. All right, and then we have it here. Okay, and if you have any shape in Figma, like this in Figma, if you go to this image, let me click on this image again and go and select another image. Which one can I select now? I don't want to use this people. Okay. Okay, this is our first video. I'll design this one in Figma. Let me just import it. So you can see now the same thing is saying that as you click and drag. But if I want to not input it inside this shape, I can just override the shape and then I click on this. You can see now that it goes to that shape by default, just because I've not drawn it. Because it's now thinking that that is the shape that I want to make that image imitate. Okay? So that's it about that. Of course, you will not be allowed to use video in Figma because you are using Figma free version. If you want to use video, you have to buy the pro version. All right? But you are not going to be using video in your design most of the time, unless you want to prototype. Okay? And by that time, that means maybe you are collecting review projects. And at that time, you can probably consider buying the pro version. Okay, so that's it for that. I mean, we already scratched this thing on the surface. We still have a lot to learn about this shape. And as we continue to be designing, we are going to see more and more of them, because it's a little bit hard for me to even be showing you all these effects, all these property one after the other. Okay, so that's it all about the shape. In the next video, before we move on to the creation tool, which is this pen tool and the pencil tool, I'm going to teach you about layer, so you can know how layer work and you can know how to manipulate your layer. So I will see you in that video.